Only Sport Africa.
Well, we have an exciting guest today, sitting down and just finding out how did the football bug bite Bevan Fransman, Chiefs legend, who is here. Bevan, so good to have you. Thank you for honoring the invite.
Such a pleasure to be here.
Football, post-football, life post-football. Do you feel in your career, which spans almost over 20 years, that you readied yourself for the day where you no longer play?
Yes and no. Mentally, it has to come to an end eventually. In my case, I was initially, when I was in my early 30s, I said, you know what, if I get to 34, I'd be happy with that. And I was still playing good football. I was still physically fit enough to compete.
Mm-hmm.
But you tell yourself you're ready, but when the reality comes, the emotion that comes with it, and when you're no longer doing the daily, then that's the realization that you've actually stopped playing.
I think I asked you this question. You were either at Bloem Celtic or Maritzburg, and I said, Bevan, just taking a look at your age, being one of the older players, and you laughed at me. And it was basically a question steered towards, when do you know it's time to let go? And I mean, when did you make that decision, as hard as it might have been?
To be honest, at the time when I remember the questioning.
Oh, you do?
Yes. Yeah. I remember it, and at Maritzburg, my biggest problem was I started enjoying football more than I thought I'd still be enjoying it.
This was between 2016 and 2018?
Yes.
And you had a baby somewhere there, wasn't it not
2017.
Yeah.
So at the time, it was like, got 2 kids, settle, Maritzburg, and then, I don't know, I had a great season. I think Falu's got something to do with it. The involvement together with him, the style of play of football, I started enjoying the way we were playing, the interaction. And that season, my focus was to make the team do well, because we did okay the previous season, better than what I thought. And my joy came from nurturing the younger boys in the team. We had young talents. I had to look after them, guide them a bit. We had a few experienced players, Kurt Lenkies, Dan Sovaidlik. Brian was still young, 10 years my junior, but he was quite experienced. He was a national team player. So the older guys, Evans, Roziki, we had to guide the team in some direction. So that brought me a lot of joy, spending extra hours with kids. Rushin Deriak was still a little pup.
Wow.
Sianda Kulu came in from a tough stint at Chiefs. We had to get him.
I don't think he's over that tough stint at Chiefs, to be very honest with you.
Yeah, no, he had a very tough time coming in there. And mentally, we had to unblock him to get playing better. But he did exceptional. The 2 of us were voted nominees for Defender of the Season. He won it. So whether I got it, he won it, it didn't bother me even. But yeah, I think that's what kept me going. And then I was still physically fine. I didn't have any injuries, no muscles issues or things like that. And guys just asked me, hey, we played Saturday, but Monday you're fine. And yeah, I just changed my routine a bit, learned to look after my body better, rest more. Yeah.
And then the gavel drops when?
I think it was at Spurs after
Cape Town Spurs.
Cape Town Spurs, yeah. I was still playing in the NFD. In the beginning, it was a tough start. I got a concussion. My first game, 62 minutes in. Not the best start for any player joining a club. And I was out for 8 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was a horrible injury. I got concussed on my way falling down from the video I watched.
And you're tall. It's a long way down.
Yeah. But the more frustrating thing is, I have the picture. In that incident, the game should have gone on. The ball drops. The ball hits the back of the net. It gets called back for a foul against me. So we should have won the game 1-0 against Venda, opening game. Johnny Ferreira was the coach. And, that was not a great start to my Spurs season. I came back,
But what are you thinking, though, in this injury? Because like you said, you've been injured before. You've been out. Very short stints of injury, nothing that is really long. And so, I mean, funny I say, when does the gavel drop? And you drop at the start of the season, which is not characteristic of how Bevan starts a season or runs out a season or sees a season through. Is that where your mind starts thinking about, is it time?
I think
the knock to your head?
No, I think it was post-season. Because, I was thinking of playing another season and then got a few nibbles from other clubs, and the sincerity of the offers weren't there anymore. And I thought, what, I'm not going to put myself through a season. I know what type of person I am. I'm not going to give a half effort, so don't give me a half offer.
But do you see these half offers as life is moving on, where the younger generation are the ones filling the shoes? They've got the longevity, right? They've got the years now on their side, whereas you don't,
No, definitely.
And it's a terrible realization, because I think in my industry it's the same thing, where you realize you love what you do, but the landscape is changing. I mean, influencers are coming in and taking over journalism space, where, yes, in football it might not be so diluted, but it's the same thing where, you've given so much that you're older, you're on the experience side, but they're looking for the younger, fitter guys.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think when I stopped playing, I did it with a bit of, I was at ease with it, I was at ease with it. I was like, I gave everything I got. I look back and I said, you know what, that was something. That was something. That was a hell of a ride. Somebody reminded me yesterday. Said, do you realize you play Champions League football? How many people play Champions League football? I was like, I don't know. Said, in our country, I don't think it's more than 20. I was like, yeah, that was that. Yeah.
So blasé. You're so blasé. Blasé about what you've contributed, what you've given to football, which is literally your entire life, from the age of 16 to where we are now. So, I mean, that moment, what day was it? Where were you? Where you were like, okay, I'm okay with this decision that I'm about to make.
I think when I moved from Spurs and I came home to Centurion, wife, my kids, I sat down, I was like, yeah.
Is it like a cloudy day?
No, it was...
Is it a noisy house? Is it like, take me through that
my
exact
can
moment?
Be both, all of those things in one day. Yeah. I think we were sitting on the couch, TV room. I remember I had my one kid on one side, my other kid on the side. Like, yeah, this is nice. I'm not going to the airport. I'm not packing a bag to leave the house. I'm not worried about uniform, packing soccer boots. I was at peace with it. And it takes some time. It does take some time to get that realization that this is life after football. Yeah.
Is it hard?
It is. You miss it terribly. I missed it terribly in the first few months. I feel for my wife because I was really frustrated because you find a point where you've been doing this thing for 20 years, waking up the routine is not there.
Pack the bag and move it around the house if you want to.
Oh, she'll slaughter me.
Just pull it around. I'm going now.
Leaving dog bags around the house, that's not going to happen in my house.
I guess
guarantee you.
it's an adjustment for everybody,
Yes.
right? Because for your wife, it's you come and go. She's got some peace. She knows how to run the house without you around with the boys. Now, I guess it's a reintroduction of who you guys are with you constantly being in that space,
Yes.
right? You're not going, she's not getting the moments of,
Yeah.
but it's also must be tough when I guess you're battling your own demons in your head, so from a psychological point of view, what did you go through? What was the transition like? You seem to have a very level head about you, but in sport we talk more and more about the psychological aspect. And if you're saying it's hard when you're out of routine, how do you still maintain the physique that you have, stay fit because you always have, and know that you are now retired?
I think, like I spoke to a lot of guys who've retired on that, like friends like Luke Stanton. Sean was my coach at Spurs, Sean Bartlett. Spoke to him a lot. Nassif, Matthew, Brian, a lot of the guys that I've played with before. And I kind of tried to understand what their experience was. And Stanton said something, very, I wouldn't say profound, but he said something. He says that click that made sense. And because we played a golf day. And he says, soon after I stopped, we played a golf day in, where was it? Not Waterfall, it was...
Stain City.
No, I wish. Yeah, but we played a golf day. And we said, like, Babes, how's it being at home? Is it hard? I said, yeah, it is hard. He says, yeah, that it's going to be hard not having the... He said he went through similar experience, and it's going to be there. And the thing is, like, you think that you're only going through it, but every footballer that starts playing, they've probably gone through the same. Or athlete, I should say. I say athlete or sportsman or high performance people. If they stop doing something, those first few months you're going to miss it. Even Ari, I sat with Ari in his office. He said he was running steers, and then he stopped doing it. And then he was like, hey, he misses it. He needs to do something. Got involved back in football. And it's a bug. It's an addiction, I think. I think probably that's why I still love the sport.
You're still in it.
I'm still in it. A lot of people have animosity towards the sport when it stops.
Yeah.
They have this kind of...
It's a hatred. It's like a love-hate.
They become not despondent, that's not the word. But their love falls away, their passion falls away. Because they're not sure, or they're not ready, or they're not satisfied. They wanted to continue, they want to do more. And I think it's hard for people who have not won much in their career. And they still chase the victory. They still chase that last cup. Like I spoke to my dad, he says, when I joined Spurs, was it Highlands? He said, do you think you'll ever win a cup? I said, why not? As long as I'm playing, there's a chance, isn't there? And, some players can go their whole career, not win a league, not win a cup. They don't know what the feeling's like. So it eludes them for so long, and then you feel that when they stop, they've
grudge.
That grudge. But I think the way it ended for me was okay. No sourness towards anybody. No sourness.
Was it like a song and a dance that you did?
No, nothing.
Like, hey, I'm retiring.
Nothing.
Why?
I've never announced that I've stopped playing.
Yes, why?
I didn't feel the need to, personally. A lot of people said, hey, you should have announced that you're retiring. I said, I don't think I need the... Like, I heard Robert say, hey, he spoke to somebody, I forgot who it was. And he said, you've received your flowers. So for me, I don't think I need...
You didn't need flowers?
I didn't need somebody to give me flowers over a whole...
But what if we wanted to?
I think it's, oh yeah,
Yeah,
I'd accept him.
Yeah, because what if we wanted to, right?
Yeah.
Because there you were, and poof, you
Yeah.
know, where are you, kind of thing. And it's like that quiet retreat. And I think it's very true to your personality, because in all the years I have seen you, watched you, interviewed you, it's never been a boastful Bevan or a loud out there Bevan. It's just I'm here to do my business, and now you don't see me, and I'll be back again when we play, and then you don't see me. How did you maintain that clean, squeaky clean, I wasn't in shwashwi, discipline? Does it come from the principal father and nurse mother who raised you? Where does it come from?
Look, I think a little bit comes from I'd say my dad, my mom, schooling plays a factor, I think. Development. I was at Spurs development from 13 to 16 years old, 15 years old, sorry. And I think you had to have a bit of discipline at the time to make it. As a junior at that time, we were in our neighborhood, in the clubs we played for.
Where are you from?
Fairways in Cape Town. And club football was very competitive.
Where's Fairways?
It's on the border. It's circled by Wynberg, Parkwood, Grassy Park, and Ottery.
Got
It's
you.
in the middle of that.
Got you.
Yeah. So I think it's at our age when we were all breaking through. Rastum broke out into the first team before me. Rastum Simons, he's an agent now. It was to get to the first team, and everybody wants to get to the first team. So you got to be better than the next. You got to do what the next person's not doing. Outwork the next guy. I was looking back, I said, you know what, people don't believe me when I say my brother was an awesome player. He said, but your brother never played professional. I said, yeah, but it was different for him. His goals were different. My goal was driven straight, I want to be a pro. I remember.
Why? Who did you see? Where did this football love come from? So strong also that you end up, being the footballer you've always wanted to be.
I think it comes from my dad, really. My dad was, I'd say, a good player. I watched him growing up. So our Saturdays would be junior football. You win, you get some sort of reward, buying a Coke, whatever. It was £5 a goal. You chase that £5 because it's spending money.
What did you buy with £5? Back in the day,
those
a
days
lot.
you could buy a lot with £5. Yeah, £5 was if you scored 2 goals, you had a £10. So you
at the house shop on the corner.
You are up. You are up with the kid on the block.
Yeah.
With £10. So that was great. My dad, not many people know, he told me the story. He was drafted to be signed for Cape Town Spurs, and at the time he just finished his teaching degree. He got an offer to teach, was on the table, versus a pro contract at Spurs.
Wow.
I think at the time I was born, wife, 2 kids. He weighed up the option. Those years, I'm talking about in the early 80s, footballers were not getting paid that much. Teaching and football was the same. He chose teaching. It was more stable.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he chose teaching over a pro career. Look, it's a big decision. It's a major decision.
Yeah, it's providing for your family versus, I guess, something that people might see as a hobby, and how long is it going to last? And I think times were different then to now, because I'm like, take both, you can do it, Do you feel also your success, your dad in a way lived vicariously through you, where you went to the places, played the games that deep down he dreamt of doing?
No, definitely. I think I look back and I see it in my son, really. For him to tell his friends, hey, my dad was a pro player. When he says it, I can see he says it with a bit of pride in it.
I love it, yeah.
He
can boast.
He enjoys it. He enjoys saying my dad was a pro player. And I think if my dad had turned pro, I would have been the same. I'd probably say the same thing. about my dad.
Mm.
But yeah, like coming back to it, I grew up as when I joined Spurs, it was when Spurs senior team played, you'd go to the stadium. You're gonna be early. You want to be a ball boy.
And where are we? Athlone Stadium?
Athlone Stadium, Greenpoint Stadium. I think if you look at, if they can go through archives, I was a ball boy. I was a ball boy for Sean Bartlett, Elton Mayring. So the late Elton Mayring. So Elton Mayring, I come in a long time. I was a ball boy for him, and he coached at my school at Plumstead, because Terry Ackist was the principal at our school as well, and he was head coach at Spurs at the time. So yeah, it was just being around football, getting into the culture of, like, we had a football culture, and
A good one?
a great one at the time. Like, I've got fond memories of being at the stadium, massive matches, Spurs beating Chiefs at Greenpoint Stadium. I remember it. Stadium goes mad. Final also goes. Crowd comes into Greenpoint Stadium. It was just crazy. David Inyati scores the goal. Athlone Stadium. Free kick before the free kick. My dad, I remember, he says to me, he's gonna score this and win it. He scores and wins it.
Look at your dad.
So those things, it's the passion, it's the feeling. I think a lot of people don't experience this in their life, but the feeling of winning is, for me, probably the ultimate. I'm gonna win at everything.
Competitive.
I'm extremely competitive.
And if you don't, what happens to you then?
When I was younger, I was a terrible loser when I was younger. I'd fight with teammates.
Oh, really? Look at you.
Yeah. Look, a lot of people, when they meet me, they can't believe off the field I'm calm. On the field,
Yeah, I'm like this really zen person that I see and know in a way the total opposite.
yeah. So a lot of people don't understand. Said you've got the white line syndrome. I was like, what do you mean? He said, yeah, when you cross the white line, you switch over. I was like, oh, okay. And somebody said to me, Alan Smith, he was a former United player, he says he's got the same thing. Off the field, he's very calm. On the field, he was a menace. I remember at Leopards, we played Leopards away. Selo Motsepe, he gets into an argument with the striker. And I remember I went up and I grabbed him and I choked this guy. And I was like, after the game, I said to him, don't do that again. He's like, why do you choke me? Like, and I said it to him in the calmest way. That's what boggled him, I think. Because what happened on the field was at the highest level. And then off the field, I was like calm. And it's football.
We're talking about that white line syndrome, and obviously football being an extremely emotional sport. So take me through that moment again where you choking the guy and later in the calmest voice explain your actions.
Yeah, I think it's confusing to a lot of people who don't understand the emotion of football and the extremes of it. And for me, it's really what's lacking. I think if you go through a lot of clips, even my son, he watches some old games, he sees me, he's like, Dad, that's you. I was like, yes, that's me. And
how old was he? Does your older son have memory?
My older son's got some memory because when at Madisburg, I used to bring him, my brother-in-law, he'd bring him to the stadium. So he's got one or twice I brought him to the locker room after the game just for him to feel like the chaos. And he's got some memory of it.
And seeing you play.
And he's seen me play. I remember one day I felt terrible. I got a red card. No, I got a yellow card, yeah. I got a yellow card. No, actually, it's right. I got a red card. It was in the cup, in the knockout. I got double yellow in the first half. Got sent off. I came home. And he was shattered. He was like, how could you get a red card?
Wow.
And it was like, whoa. he's actually watching, and now then I wasn't thinking about it before that, but afterwards, like, hey, this kid's actually watching me.
But what were the bookable offences? What was it for?
It was silly. It was silly. It was nothing, in my eyes, nothing major.
Okay.
It was 2 professional fouls. I think on another day, I'd get away with it.
How many reds have you gotten in your professional career?
Not more than 10. I'm not at Sergio Ramos level yet.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's not too bad.
Yeah,
I mean, if it is,
But,
it's 13 clubs, you could say
yeah.
one a club, pretty much.
I think I could count him. And I know exactly. I think.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I got my first one was Swallows versus Chiefs. I scored the win and got sent off in the last minute. Then I got sent off at Netanya for retaliation for action that wasn't done by the referee. I retaliated on that. Hapoel Tel Aviv, I remember it. Red card, guy was facing the goal. I fouled him. I chose to foul him outside the box. Get sent off, but we drew the game. So
Okay, you took one for the team.
I took one for the team. But I got fined after that as well. So yeah. Then Highlands Park. Maritzburg, I got red carded. Ernst got red carded after me in the same game. So it was weird because when I got red carded at Maritzburg, it was against Highlands Park. And I didn't think it was a red card offense, but anyways. And I could see Ernst was disappointed. He was disappointed with what I did. I was staying in the tunnel. Next thing I know,
Here comes.
Here comes Ernst. and at the moment,
I might have been at that game, actually.
at the moment, all I wanted to do was laugh. You know, because I saw the funny side, and I thought, you know what, don't laugh. Ernst is not going to see the funny side.
Yeah.
And Ernst has got humor, by the way. A lot of people don't know that. He's got humor, but a dry German humor.
German sense of humor.
And if you don't get it, you don't get it. I get it a little bit. But yeah, he took it. The next day we laughed about it. We had a joke about it. And Ernst is that, you know. But yeah, I think I played hard and as fair as possible. I don't think I was malicious as people think.
Mm-hmm.
I was just
playing the game.
I was playing
right?
the game.
Playing the game.
I was playing the game.
I mean, 13 clubs from your very first one to Spurs, the very last one. I kind of want to say, is it a good thing? You know, for you to have touched down at so many clubs, does it show the type of player you are? Does it show market value? Does it show worth? But then again, on the flip side, why couldn't you stay longer? You know, the longest you've stayed at a club is 3 years, and that's Kaizer Chiefs. So we refer to you as the Kaizer Chiefs legend, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm merely saying that just based on time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you take a look at the corporate world, right, it's how long you stay in that position to get your 10-year bonus, or you're this key, or this, you know. And so for me, it's like, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? How would you describe it? Because if it is that you're good, they're going to want to retain you. But you seem to have touched down at so many different clubs. Why?
I think it's for a lot of people might not understand my decisions at the time. And there's a lot of dynamics that goes into players making a move. A lot of it is psychological, mental. So for me, it was more self-worth.
Because 16, you signed your first contract, right?
Yeah.
That was with Mother City.
Yes.
After that, it's FC Fortune.
Yeah.
Then Muskron.
Yeah.
So if you take me through those first three, what were those decisions? Obviously, at 16, you're just happy to break into the pro leagues. But after that, it's 2002, you know, 2001, 2002. That's a year. 2002 to 2003. And yeah, just take me through I guess your thinking, your thoughts, your decisions, and also just the short stints at the various clubs.
In my earlier years, it was all about me. I'm going to be honest about it. It was about me, Bevan. And I wanted to play in Europe. That was my goal. A lot of people don't know this, but in grade 11 we did job study. people went to corporates, they went to accounting places. I went to a pro club. I came back with my group study. People said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to make a career out of this." People didn't take me serious. The teachers at the school were like,
It's a hobby.
You're joking. You're not serious about this." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to be a football player."
I hope you got a chance to turn around and say, "See, I told you so."
Yeah, but maybe I could have, but
You didn't.
It wasn't going to satisfy me anyway. So at 16 when I joined Mother City got relegated in that season, and it was NFD football. Colin Gee at the time he started out FC Fortune. Quentin was still involved. It was a great project because we played in the Man United kit replica, just the badge was changed. So it was at 16, this is blowing your mind.
Cute.
This is blowing your mind. And then I joined FC Fortune. And for me, it was just about playing, being out there, being noticed. I wanted people to see me play well to get further in my career. And then, I played. Few scouts came to watch me. Before I joined Muskrin, I went to trial. And Muskrin was great because I joined them. I was not close to I wanted to play under 20 national team. There was under 17 national team. I didn't make the cut. And under 23 Olympics were coming up. I knew if I stayed at FC Fortune, I have no chance of playing Olympics.
Okay.
That was the brutal truth.
So move.
I have to move, either to PSL or overseas.
Who's facilitating? Your dad is still your guide in terms of the decisions you're making?
At the time, Colin Gee was my manager guide at the time, together with my dad. And then the move could have come around sooner. But then there were some issues in Belgium with some kids that weren't treated right. Then they said, no, you have to wait till you're 18 to sign a foreigner. I should have gone to Muskrin the year before.
Okay.
But it all worked out. I was supposed to go as a junior. And when I eventually signed...
You were 18?
I was 18. But I signed as a junior.
Why?
Because I was supposed to play under 19. I still qualified for under 19.
Okay.
So I was in a big part of development. But when I arrived at... we played a tournament where FC Fortune was involved. The whole FC Fortune under 19s went. I played for Muskrin under 19. And I hadn't signed the contract for Muskrin yet. And somewhere in the archives at home, my dad, he has the video, he missed the free kick that I scored. I scored a free kick for Muskrin, and Hugo Bruce, people don't know this. I don't even think Hugo Bruce can remember it. But Hugo Bruce came to watch that game. He was the coach of Muskrin at the time. And 2 days later, I signed for Muskrin. And I think I played well. But then Hugo Bruce, that was during the season. At the end of the season, he moved. And then we got a new coach in, Lorenzo Stallins. Hugo Bruce moved out to the club, and he signed in Nele in Conga. The late, yeah. Wow.
So what a story.
So, yeah.
So you go. Do you make it though? Because you're moving to. So you're on a mission.
Yeah. So I moved to Belgium. I played in the senior team, and
do you make the Olympic squad?
I made the Olympic squad. I used to come for the Olympic qualifiers. Unfortunately, during that time, Lorenzo Stallins leaves Muskrin. Then a rule in Belgium comes that juniors have to get a minimum salary for foreigners. That puts a twist in the tail where I was concerned, because I was below that mark. Our club was going through some turmoil with the president of the club in terms of money, and I was given a release. I got released, nearly joined Pirates.
Almost.
I was this close to joining Pirates, believe it or not, because I was part of the under-23s and I was partnering with Eddie Malinga. Eddie Malinga was at Pirates. I nearly joined Pirates. Played one more game under 23. The very next week I joined Chiefs.
1 second. It's a fluff from this thing. That's what I can only... yeah. Sorry. So you joined Chiefs, but you're 2 minutes to joining Pirates. Why? Why Nature Arena instead of Orlando?
I think when I was growing up, the order of Chiefs was just, I had more attachment to it.
It was bigger.
They were bigger. When they came to Cape Town, I'd watch the game. I'd see what it does to a crowd. I'd see when they come out of the tunnel, the stadium erupts for a warm-up. I'm like, this is something else.
I want to be there.
They were the biggest club at the time. And I watched being a defender. I thought Jacob Chichevia was something. He was stylish. Neil Tovey was captain. He had an order about him. He was national team captain. So I was like, this is a team. This is a team.
You think you made the right choice?
Most definitely.
Well, you can't say no now, hey?
No, it's too late to say no now. Yeah, but at the time, I was looking at Pirates. Half of my under-23 squad were Pirates players. And I was just going to be another player in that Pirates team. I was going to be another under-23 player.
You did say it was all about you. Would you say it was all about... Was it all about you throughout your career? Or does all about you stop somewhere, maybe after Chiefs, where you feel like maybe you've built your name?
No, not really. I think only once marriage came along, once kids came along, I think I had a bit of a mind shift, mental shift.
And that happens where? When you're at Chiefs?
No, much later. Much later. Because in my mind, I knew I could have stayed at Chiefs, but I wasn't playing enough games. When we didn't qualify for the Olympics, the way it works, that whole squad, you null and void. I could still play 3 more years under 23.
Mm-hmm.
I was only 19 years old when that whole group got cut, which to me, I still can't fathom it. Why SAFA do it? Other nations, they use 22-year-olds under 23, get them qualified for major tournaments, and that's how they do it.
Do you feel robbed a little bit?
Yeah, I think I should have played, I could have played 2 years, 3 years further under 23 still.
Robbed in a sense for Olympics and robbed in a sense for 2010 World Cup as well.
Yeah, look, I think it's 2 different scenarios. In under 23, I played all the qualifiers. The onus to qualify was on us. We didn't make it. That I accept wholeheartedly. The part where I didn't like was I was injured for the last 2 games. I watched from the couch.
Mm-hmm.
I was injured with an ankle injury. I got injured at FNB against Golden Arrows. And I missed the last 2 games. It was the most worst thing you can ever feel. Because you're watching the game, you can't do anything about it. You can't contribute in any way, and your dream is going. It's on its way. And yeah, that was hard. That was hard to watch. That was hard. Because I said that Olympics was something to play. I'd like to play in the World Cup. I fell short. But yeah, the Olympics, that was, it came, it went. I played for Chiefs again, I forgot about it. Once that was over, my goal was just to be a Bafana player. It came the very next year.
How many caps?
19.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your favorite game representing your country?
Oof. It would have to be my first. My first game was, for me, that was something. We played Zambia, qualifier. The call came out of nowhere. I was at Swallows. No, I was at Chiefs. And I got called, Renee got called. We were like a makeshift squad for that game because the guys came from the Gold Cup in US, and I watched that on TV. I was like, oh, some of the Super Sport boys are playing in the squad. I can play there. I should be part of this. Because at the time, there was foreign-based players. They played the qualifiers. Not everyone could make it for the Gold Cup. A lot of the Super Sport boys were doing well at the time under Pizzo. They were winning cups.
Yeah.
They were successful.
Was it like 3 back-to-back cups? How many did Pizza win back-to-back?
Oof, I don't think Pizzo won. Oh, he won cups, yes, but
Yeah.
not the league.
Yeah.
Not the league. Excuse me. And then I made the I think it was AFCON. We played Zambia, and the game went into penalties, and I scored my penalty. It was great. For me it was massive. It was really massive.
The very first one.
Yeah, it sticks
That
in
stands- it stands out,
sticks in your
yeah.
mind.
Ingrained in your memory forever.
Sticks in your mind.
What would you say your highlights of your career has been? Like moments that you will forever cherish?
There are quite a few, but if I had to pick one,
Because like when you're quiet and you reflect on your career, I mean, playing Champions League,
Yeah.
like you said, how
think-
many South Africans do that?
I think one of the major things was probably my first game playing Champions League, Benfica. We didn't win. It was a 2-0 scoreline. But on the flip side, they came to Tel Aviv, and they were confident, and we smashed them 3-0. I think for me, that was next level. They had great players. They had Contrao. Contrao went to Real Madrid the next season. They had David Luiz. He went to Madrid next season. Luis Garcia.
That's big players, yeah.
Luis Garcia went to Madrid. Yeah, that was major. And I think we had that game gave us hope for our last game. And people thought we were dead and buried. There's no ways Apple Tel Aviv's beating Benfica. It shouldn't happen.
And it did.
And it did. It came out on the 3-line scoreline. I got, I think Goal.com put me in the team of the week in the Champions League. To see my name next to Nesta, a guy that I admired. He was a brilliant centre back. And I was like, my name's next to Nesta. Yeah, that's me there. Yeah. It takes you some realization to wrap your head around it. But yeah, that was major. I think even we played with Bafana. We played in Bloemfontein, final. We played Zambia. We won that. We lifted a cup. It was like at the time, there was qualifiers, and we never played the qualifiers. I was on the bench for that, and then when we won that, it was all local players, and that was something for me as well. It was in Bloemfontein, full house. Yeah.
Yeah, and that stadium can, I mean...
Yeah.
The guys in Bloem know how to turn up for a game.
And I'd say my debut for Chiefs, it was unexpected. That first game kind of paved the way for the rest of my stay at Chiefs, because I came on, David Kaname got injured. It was I think it was the quarterfinals or semi-finals. And I hadn't played until that game. I was on the bench. Kaname injured his ankle. I came on against Wits. I was marking with Stanley, somebody I knew. The game gets rained off. We come back a second time, and I start. And for me, that was something. That was something.
Nice. I mean, all the different clubs that you've represented. I mean, Supersport United, Bloem Celtic, Maritzburg, Highlands, Galaxy. And you look back at your career. I mean, there are standout moments for you. And now life has transitioned. I mean, already at Maritzburg, I think you kind of knew that, kind of ushering in the younger players and looking after them. And there was that responsibility, I feel, from your part, to not just leave them out to dry.
Yeah.
Which I think you should have. But you didn't. So I mean, what is life for Bevan like now? What do you do? What influence do you have? Because you're still very much a part of football.
Yeah, I think now life is different. It's much calmer. It's chaotic, calm with kids.
You do school drop-offs
I do school drop-offs in the morning.
and pickups.
Sometimes if I can, pickups, yeah, if time allows. But yeah, I was coaching in the GDPL. It was a good experience for me. I think my pathway now is to go into coaching. That's my next step I'd like to pursue, and I'm trying to pursue as much as I can.
Why didn't you stay at Galaxy? There was that open door where you were doing your license already. I think yourself and Yeye
Yes.
sort of, let go of the game at similar times to pursue it then, because you were already doing your licenses.
Yeah, I think I was at home. I was like, okay. I was almost going to stop, and then the offer from Spurs came through. And I had an attachment to Spurs, to be honest. Being a junior.
Almost like to come full circle.
It was come full circle, yeah.
Like you started there and now
Started there.
rounded off. Yeah, that's actually quite nice.
So from that perspective, it was nice. But at Galaxy, I think if I didn't stay, to be honest, because I was not given a concrete offer, and I think I should have had a concrete offer by the time season closed. Going into our last game,
Fair enough, yeah.
Going into our last game against Chiefs, I didn't know if I'm coming back for preseason. That was coming back into our last game, and I thought this is not right in my mind. And yeah, it comes back to with why some of the clubs I didn't stay there long. Like I remember Celtics. What the turnaround at Celtics, and the season before, and the contribution that I put in, the effort, and like I said, I'm a person. If I'm there, I'm there. I'm gonna do whatever I can, whether you like it or not, to improve the team. And a lot of people get it wrong. I think even at Highlands, my main aim is to improve the team. I'm there to do nothing else. Like I remember the first game we played Pirates 0-0. People were happy with it. I was like, guys, you can't be happy with
the
this.
draw, yeah.
You can't be happy. We draw Pirates. The stats are against us big time. We score a goal that wasn't ours. We didn't have a shot on target. We new boys in the PSL. So what? Who cares? But I think why I didn't stay at some teams was because I didn't feel that the value, they didn't have the
So for you,
value.
it's a two-way thing.
Yeah.
Value me
Yeah.
as much as I value you to be able to put the best of me on the pitch all the time.
There we go.
And for you, if it was a mismatch,
Yeah.
you'd rather go.
I'd find, because there's a saying that goes, go where you are wanted
And respected.
and respected. So you don't want to be at a place they're doing it out of pity, or they're doing you a favor.
Doing a favor, yeah.
I'm not doing you a favor by playing.
Putting your body on the line every day.
Yeah, I'm giving you my everything. So it should match up. It has to match up and rewarded.
So in terms of coaching, are there aspirations, because I know you're still busy doing licenses, correct, getting your coaching badges. Is there ambition to be Steve Barker? Because I have to say he's a gentleman regardless. I've never seen an F-bomb on the pitch. He happens to be the same person there all the time.
Yeah.
Coach Hunt, well, we know Coach Hunt, right?
Yeah,
So hence I draw the comparison.
What I've seen of myself coaching, I'm not as calm as Steve on the bench.
He is, yeah.
As a player, I was capable of saying some mean things, yeah. Not for public audience.
Right, yeah. we will not repeat.
Yeah.
But do you want to
Yeah.
be? Do you want to be in
No.
the PSL coaching, or is your love really in terms of nurturing the next generation? I mean, you mentioned Arushin Dariak, who is in Israel at the moment, who you saw come through the ranks, who is now a pro player and probably followed in your footsteps, right? Somebody that he could look up to, relate to. Is that more where your heart lies?
No, most definitely no. I think it's kind of paying it forward. That would be my satisfaction now. Pay it forward.
Better than perhaps it was done for you, because you seem to have had, like you talk about that football culture, your ushering in seems to have been so well supported.
No, look, I look back and I look at the guys that I've played with, and I look at how hard it is. I know how hard it is to be a pro footballer and how much stress. There's a lot of stress involved and pressure. There's pressure always. I don't care who says what. Some people say, hey, this one joined that team. There's no pressure there. There's pressure.
Always.
There's always pressure. So people, that's a cop-out for me. But like I look at some of the players I played with, Fabian, he was always a guide, someone who guided you. McCarthy, yeah. Fabian McCarthy. Stanton. Shoes Mashweyu was ridiculous.
But those two are also a bad combination,
No,
and
Stanton.
Fabian.
As individuals, they're good. Let's just put it that way. Together, they're not so good. Yeah. But I look at, like, I had the ability. I think I was lucky to have a good group of guys at Chiefs. Like, they were ridiculous good players, but they were good people. Shoes Mashweyu was probably most gifted guy I've been with, or seen play, or played with. And he was he had a nurturing way about him and guiding. And they talk to you and they tell you, listen, this, that, do this, don't do that. So I'm appreciative of players that I interacted with. Patrick Mabedi at Swallows, he was brilliant. Kudran Mazibuku, he was brilliant. When it came to those things, they were leaders. So I think the interaction that you have with other players kind of shape you as well. Coaches shape
Definitely,
you,
yeah.
definitely shape you. They've got an influence on you in some way.
Shape or break?
Shape or break, it can happen. Later on in my career, it was not so much. I didn't really. I was asked this question now a few weeks back about some of the guys said I couldn't even care less. It was not. It was about. It was not about what he thought. A coach thought. So a younger guy. A lot of people say, "Hey, they think about the coach. The coach don't like me." I couldn't care less if the coach likes me or not.
But you should, because, I mean, that's why I said a make or a break, right? Look at a Sianda that you needed to unlock coming off of a terrible Chiefs season where he probably thought Steve Compella hated him to the max, where it might not have been like that. But that's why I said it's definitely a shape or a break. So it can't not matter. Maybe to you, because perhaps you digest differently.
That's why I'm saying later on. Later on because you have to kind of know yourself. And at the time I knew I was a good player. Let's just say that. And I knew my contribution would be significant, or I'd make sure my contribution is of significance. I remember Lotte Matthäus, he said to me, we were coaching, and he was my coach at Netanya. In my first few weeks, he says, I was playing centre back, I was playing holding midfield sometimes. He says, listen, look at you. You have to be the difference. If you're not the difference, you're not doing anything. Then you're not worth having here. And it's like, yeah, I have to be the difference. You have to be the one who influences the game. If you can't influence the game, influence people to influence the game. And, things like that helps a player. That helps you as a person.
Yeah, the psychological dynamics.
that come
and
with
also that what resonates with you and what doesn't, you know. But I think you also have to be resilient in stature so that what doesn't bounces off you instead of breaking you in order for you to, I guess, keep going.
Yeah.
You know,
So,
Bevan, I
but
don't.
coming back to the
No, go ahead.
So coming back to the coaching part, I think what I've experienced interacting with players at the moment, young players. I was coaching under 19. Those boys, if I can see improvement, then I'm happy. If I see a play improve, if the team improves, the way they play, tactical understanding, if they're grasping it or not, I'm looking closely at those things. So for me, it's more about the younger players need to understand the game. I said,
Like understand it on paper.
understand it of what's required of the game and the demands of it.
Because I'm always like, there's textbook football, and then there's natural talent. And this is just how I digest. I'm by no means a footballer. And then it's applying it. But for me, all of them link. You can't just have natural talent and want to play without checking what's required on paper, you know. So is it about, apart from natural talent, it's about knowing the game, all aspects of it. Hence I say on paper and physically playing.
Yeah, I think it's more about the unspoken. It's more about the unspoken that a lot of players need to learn, the younger players. When I was young, I said, I always hear guys says, hey, I wish I knew what I knew now earlier. Later on in my career, I felt the same. I felt the same. And I was like, why didn't someone tell me?
And now you feel that deficit doesn't need to exist.
It doesn't need to.
Because I guess we've got players like you who are able to guide the next generation.
Correct, yeah. And I remember I was sitting at FNB with Morgan and Tsepo Masilia. We watched the game. It was Chiefs. I said, you know what, sometimes I know what type of player Morgan was. He knows the type of player. We're not the same, but we understand what it requires. Tsepo, I played with Tsepo in the national team. I played against him at Haifa. He was my rival for 2 years. About 3 years. He was a rival. But I said, you know what I miss about the modern defender or defending itself is I see too many players just accepting that this guy's going to give me a hard time, not do anything about it. We'd take you out.
I guess the hunger is different than what it is now.
Sorry, excuse me, what was it?
The hunger.
The hunger, yeah, the hunger
and the culture, because you alluded to a culture.
Yeah.
I think the culture is different now.
The culture is, much more different now.
I think the game has evolved, hasn't it?
It's evolved. But
Good or bad?
Depending on how you want to look at it.
Because in this case, has it evolved good or bad when you're looking at a defender, for example, taking, he's going to give me a hard time. And there isn't that push to be better or to fight back, you know, which I'm sure you're feeling innately while sitting and watching. If I was there, I would do 1, 2, 3.
Look, I think there's not enough. So I'd test strikers. I used to test people and see what they do. Some, and you see the reaction. Like I'll give you an example. Somebody like a Percy Tau. I played against a young Percy Tau. And I said, this kid is quick. He was quicker than me around.
He's fast.
He's quick. And he was intelligent. He was very intelligent for a young player. And I thought, I'm going to nibble him. Just give him like a nudge off the ball. And it didn't bother him. And I was like, this boy he's got it.
Switched on.
He's got it. I gave him a hard tackle. It didn't bother him. He continued. And that's what, but other players, you get stuck into them. They're off the game. I knew in my head, the moment the striker's going to start thinking about me, he's bothered about what I'm doing, then I've got him. but I don't see.
Well, playing nice mind games there. You won't just play.
Oh no, no, no! It's not. It's never just playing. It's never just playing.
Different aspects of the game. What is your biggest dream for yourself as we round off? Your biggest ultimate wish post football.
Post football, for me, I'd like to be a coach at a competitive level. I'm a competitive person. I think sometimes coaching now at the junior level, I feel sometimes I'm too competitive for kids. I have to hold back a lot because, kids, there's emotion that comes with it.
There's a fine line before the tears.
Yeah. So you don't want to, you want to guide but not
Scare.
discourage. But to see myself as a professional coach.
I like that.
A professional coach in the PSL, whether it be in the PSL, whether it be in a league outside our country, I'd pursue it most definitely. I think my son said to me the other day, he says, there's other players, like he's in Steven Pina, he's in Qatar, I think, Dubai.
Okay.
He's in Dubai. Pizzo's now left.
Left Iran.
He's in Fadlu. He's coaching in Tanzania.
Percy is now left.
Yeah. Rulan is outside the country. So I think what they're doing now, these coaches, or what the generation of Benny, Barkley, Morris, Novete, Bartlett, Arense, all these guys were doing for us when we were players. They were opening the doors of Europe for other players.
Yeah, opening doors of opportunity that will long stay open even after them.
Yeah. And they kind of paved the way for players. They allowed players to dream of saying, hey, look there, he's gone to Europe.
Are you still in touch with Fadlu?
Brief, kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Kind of.
We'll leave it there. And now I'd like for you to pen a letter to yourself or a note, saying that you didn't have a big coming out party for your retirement. I'd like for you to say, Dear Bevan, and write yourself a note. How would your note go? What would you put on there?
Oof.
I'll start it for you. Dear Bevan.
That helps.
That's all I have.
That helps. It's...
You did opstellen brief, right? Opstellen brief.
Yeah.
Did you do opstellen? Yeah. Then you must know date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, date.
Address.
Luckily, the date, I lose track of days.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, the date, 30th of Jan, 2025. And so, dear Bevan, give yourself a pat on the back. You've had a career that people would be envious of, that people would dream of. The shortcomings are not that short. But the joys, the tribulations, the emotion, the ups, the downs are beyond measure. Always be grateful for the people around you that were on this journey with you. I'd say my dad, my mom, my brother, my best friend, Seymour Francis, who I've been friends with for years. Win or lose, has nothing bad to say. To my wife, who was my girlfriend for many years, thank you. And the support you've given goes beyond measure. She needs to know that. Yeah. To my manager, Colin. To my first manager, Colin, Thank you for opening the first doors, which were hard to open. Thanks to every coach that's come along, some that I fought with, believe it or not, some that have really, really pushed me to my limits and beyond. And then to Steve Kapelushnik, played a major role in my career, looked after me for quite some time, for the loyalty for both ways. He was loyal to me. I think I've had approaches from many agents, and he was the guy still that I believed in. He believed in me. To my kids, you've been my strength. You've been my shining light, the reason to wake up every morning. To myself, you did good. You did great. You can be proud. And I think the satisfaction that I've got to say, I'm lucky, but I made my own luck. Not many people can say that their dad can be proud of them, and in the very next line have the ability to say, your kids are proud of you. I think it's special. It's special. Yeah. And I'm not an emotional person, expressive emotion, really. But the emotions will always be there. The love for the game, it will always be there. And I think the integrity that you've done this with, and I'd say you had a fun ride, because this was hell of a fun. Football is fun. And at the same time, there's more to come. There's definitely more to come. It's not the end of your football journey, but only the beginning of the next.
Are you signing off?
And I will leave ... to be continued.
I love it. And that is how you retire. So this has been your official retirement right here on Omni Audio Africa. Bevan, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm sure we could go for hours on end.
Oh, no.
Just, going into different moments. And I guess this is just the tip of the iceberg of what has been an absolutely stellar professional career. And thank you very much for your contribution to football.
Thank you, Romy. Thank you for the platform that you've given today. It's quite an emotional ride. Yeah.
It has been. And I hope you've enjoyed actually just reflecting and just taking a moment to be in the spotlight and to take a moment to just say, this is what I did.
Yeah.
And it was freaking amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bevan Fransman, a legend right here on Omni Audio Africa, a career that spans over 20 years, and you just got to hear some of the highs, some of the lows, and like he says, ... because it's to be continued.
Omni Sport Africa.